Hello everybody, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another video.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Diablo 3 video here for Season 28. Today we are taking a look at the Demon Hunter and the Unhallowed Essence build. So for those that are unfamiliar with the set piece bonuses, so the two piece are your generators generate 2 additional hatred and 1 discipline. Our 4 pieces we gain 60% damage reduction and deal 60% increased damage for 8 seconds if no one is within 10 yards of you. And our 6 piece, our generators Multishot and Vengeance deals 1700% increased damage for every point of discipline that we have. So we want to try to stay at max discipline for this build. I will say that as most Demon Hunter builds go, we are a little bit squishy, so that is something to keep in mind, is that you will, well, as you go through in higher rifts and as we are utilizing the potions and probably getting a little bit higher than where we should be, just expect to run into a couple deaths here and there, and shield is going to be our best friend. So without further ado, let's get into the build in more detail.
Enjoying all the videos and content we produce, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, and don't be afraid to share. Don't forget to click on the notification button, customize it however you want, but that way you're notified whenever we publish another video.
Alright, as we look at the gear, I just want to throw up a 110 that I did so you can see the build in action. I do die a couple times as I am probably a little bit under geared for what level I was trying to do. My gear is not optimized, but anyways, let's just go through the pieces that we need. I just wanted to throw that out. So we are wearing 5 pieces of the Unsanctified Shoulders. So this is of course because we are using the Ring of Royal Grandeur. This will utilize getting this set plus the Captain Crimson set. So we have our 5 set pieces for the Unhallowed. So we get the helm, shoulders, chest, gloves, and boots. We could alternately go legs instead of boots because the Captain Crimson set utilizes the belt, pants, and boots. So we just need 2 out of the 3 for the full bonus. And for those that are unfamiliar with the Captain Crimson set bonuses, I just realized the video is a little bit in the way, so let me just move this over a little bit. Okay, so the Captain Crimson bonus is the 2 piece, is the we get 6,000 life regen per second. It reduces all cooldowns of all skills by 20%, reduces all resource costs by 20%. And then our 3 piece bonus is damage dealt is increased by your percent of cooldown, so all our cooldown turns into bonus damage, and our damage taken is reduced by our percent cost of resource cost reduction, giving us more damage mitigation. To round out our armor pieces, we are wearing Wraps of Clarity, so our hatred generators reduce our damage taken by up to 50% for 5 seconds. We're using the Yang's Recurve as our weapon, so Multishot attacks 50% faster and its damage is increased by up to 200%. And then for our quiver, we're using Dead Man's Legacy, so Multishot hits enemies below 60% health twice and its damage is increased by up to 200%. For our jewelry, we are wearing Squirt's Necklace because we're doing our best not to get hit. So while not taking damage, we get a stacking buff up to 100% damage, increased damage, but then we take up to 50% increased damage. So that's this buff down here, stacks up to 10 for 100%. And then we are using Focus and Restraint, so Bastions of Will for our rings. So when we hit with a resource generating attack, our primary skill, we get a 50% damage buff, and then we hit with a resource spending attack, we get 50% damage increase for 5 seconds. So we want to hit with our focus for our generator, and then our multi-shot as our spender to get the full 50% and 50% bonuses. For our legendary gems, so in our also, we're using Bane of the Stricken, so each attack we make against an enemy increases the damage it takes from our attacks, so the stacks by a certain percent. And then at rank 25, we get 25% increased damage against bosses and Rift Guardians. Using Zai's Stone of Vengeance, so we deal damage based on our distance from our enemy, and it multiplies for every 10 yards that we are between our target. So here at rank 48, I'm just going to round up and say we get 8% damage at 10 yards, which would then give us 40% at 50 yards. And then at rank 25, we have a 20% chance to stun on hit the enemy for 1 second. And then our last gem is Bane of the Trap. So increases damage against enemies under the effects of control and parrying effects by X%. And then at rank 25, we gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies around us by 30%, thus proccing the damage that we're going to get from Bane of the Trap. Now for our cube, go down here and move the video again out of the way. So in our cube, we are utilizing Dawn, so it's going to reduce the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%. It always amuses me when the scoundrel talks at me whenever I come over here. And then for our armor, we're using Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, so our resource generation and damage is increased by 25% while moving and decreased by 20% while standing still. And then we're using the Ring of Royal Grandeur to reduce the number of items needed for set bonuses by 1. So that's why we get to only wear 5 for the Unhallowed Essence set, and then 2 of the Captain Crimson to get the maximum bonus for both. For our skills, we are using Evasive Fire with Focus. So this is going to be a hatred generator, and this is going to proc our Focus and Restraint. So it's going to give us our 50% buff. We're using Vengeance with Darkheart, so it's going to basically turn us into a DPS machine as well as give us damage mitigation. Using Multishot with Arsenal, so it's going to be fire. Fire element is what we should be stacking on our gear. So this is going to cost 25 hatred, and this is going to be our big damage ability, and also proc the other 50% buff from our Focus and Restraint. And for survivability, we have Smokescreen with Displacement, so we're just going to vanish for a second and get move speed. Vault and Tumble, so move speed as well, or movement and mobility, as well as, excuse me. Yeah, so after using Vault, your next vault within 6 seconds has a discipline reduced by 50%, so this is just going to help us move around, stay out of trouble. Preparation with Invigoration, so it's going to instantly restore discipline and increase the max by 20, so we want to do that because of course we deal more damage by how much discipline we have. And for our pastas, we're using Thrill the Hunt, so enemies hit by our Hatred Spenders are slowed by 80% for 2 seconds, which is going to work with Call of the Week, so increase damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20%. Utilizing Steady Aim, when there are no enemies within 10 yards, we deal 20% more damage, so also a reason to stay at range for our Zais. And then ballistics increase damage of rockets by 100%. In addition, we have a 20% chance to fire a homing rocket for 150% of our weapon damage. For a rotation, you can use your potions at will, but whenever we go into the rift, we're going to want to get our Vengeance Darkheart up right away. And when we come up to enemies, we're going to want to hit with our focus or evasive fire focus here to proc Focus and Restraint, and then we would follow up with our Multishot to get the other 50%, and then we're basically using Smokescreen, Vault, and Prep to keep our discipline up if we use too much of it from vaulting around and stuff. So yeah, as you can see, we're trying to get a little bit low. So you would just pop that to fill back up, and the other two is basically used at your will for survivability, and of course use your potion whenever you want to utilize its power. So this brings us to the end of the guide. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. Be happy to answer any and all of those. And of course, we appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. So please click those buttons. And of course, come find me on Twitch. I stream pretty much daily. Come hang out and chat D3. We're happy to run keys and everything with you. So please stop by. It is a lot of fun playing with everybody. So I've appreciated it in season 27 and looking forward to it more in season 28. So that's all for me. So until next time, I hope you're enjoying Diablo 3 season 28.